All right. So your job every day is not just to do the things when we have the live lessons, but you also have to make sure you're going on and doing the word work and the science and social studies. You had a science assignment. You did not turn it in online, but you needed something in your notebook that's going to help you today and tomorrow on your actual science assignments. Okay. So please make sure that you're not stopping after math because we don't have any more live lessons, but you can go on and do writing, word work, and science and social studies. Also remember, I have office hours as well. So if you are stuck on one of these things, even if it's from reading or math, you can get on from 150 to 250 and you can get in my office hours and I can help you. I had a couple people message me and say they did not get something done yesterday because they were having trouble understanding it. Well, you could have gotten on my office hours. I could have helped you. So where it says need help, boom, there's a link for office hours. All right. So just make sure if you're stuck and you need help, you can get on during office hours and I'm there to help you. Okay. Moving forward today in reading, we're going to go back to what we talked about yesterday. And a lot of you guys showed good stamina and perseverance in taking your reading assessment, pre-assessment questions. I'm going to remind you again today, if you guys have been submitting things that should be typed in video, I know that like sometimes you can't submit pictures and you have to record a video so we can see the picture, that's fine. But when you're supposed to write out an answer, I need you to actually type up your answer in sentences rather than record a video of you saying what your answer is, okay? When you record the video, I don't get the words and the text evidence. I just get you saying it to me out loud. All right, so please take some time today and try to actually type your responses. We just need to practice that because we don't really know what's going to happen this year, and it may be that you end up having to take certain assessments and all that online, and you're going to need that practice typing because they're not going to let you just submit a video. All right. But stamina, somebody remind me, raise your hand. What do we mean when we say stamina? We talked about that for a short period of time yesterday. When we say the word stamina, what do we mean by that word stamina? Corbin, what does that mean, stamina?
Ideas of like
So think about it like this way, Corbin. If somebody runs a long time and they can run like miles and miles and miles, we say they have a lot of stamina, right? That they can't get tired. So that's the same thing. Just like physically we have stamina, like people who are able to exercise for a long time we also have stamina in being able to read or do an assessment for a long time without getting our brains tired. Maybe we do need to take a break and come back. That's fine. But stamina means we're able to do something for a long period of time without getting exhausted from it. All right, so we need to be able to do that today in reading and maybe even rereading the text and being able to answer the questions. Perseverance, does anybody remember what we said that one means? We talked about it yesterday too. Perseverance, when we're able to persevere through something. No. CJ?
I believe it means like you're able to get through something.
Yeah, even if something's difficult and it's challenging, you're able to be tough. You're able to get through it and do the best you can, even though you know it might not be perfect, right? But you're still able to say, you know what, I got this. I'm going to get this done. I know it might not be exactly right. I may not 100% know it, but I'm going to get it done. I'm going to do my best, right? So perseverance is being able to do your best and tough through things, even if it's hard. Ania, do you want to share something? I see you have the hand raised button.
When you guys are talking about the work thing, I got back late because I went somewhere and I did submit it, but I probably didn't submit it, but I did try to.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to go through now and move on to the next thing. And our goal today is to analyze different parts of the story and determine a theme. All right, and the theme, when we say that, means I'm not going to give it away 100% and put it somewhere on a big display for everybody to see because I don't want you to have the exact answer for your pre-test, your pre-assessment. But a theme is like the main message an author wants you to learn from the story. All right, so we're going to look at how can you determine a theme of a story, and what are you supposed to learn? What's the author's message in the story? So we're going to read Papa's Parrot again. It's the same story that you guys read yesterday and that I read out loud. I'm going to, just as a refresher, read it out loud to you again today. Excuse me. I'll pull it up on my screen. If you're able to follow along, that's great. And then also, remember when you go to do the questions, there is a video of it posted, and you can re-listen to it or reread it if you need to. All right, so here we go. Papa's Parrot by Cynthia Ryland. Though his father was fat and merely owned a candy and nut shop, Harry Tillion liked his papa. Harry stopped liking candy and nuts when he was around 7. But in spite of this, he and Mr. Tillion had remained friends and were still friends the year Harry turned 12. For years after school, Harry had always stopped in to see his father at work. Many of Harry's friends stopped there too, to spend a few cents choosing penny candy from the giant bins, or to sample Mr. Tillion's latest batch of roasted peanuts. Mr. Tillion looked forward to seeing his son and his son's friends every day. He liked the company. When Harry entered junior high school, though, he didn't come by the candy and nut shop as often, nor did his friends. They were older and they had more spending money. They went to the burger place. They played video games. They shopped for records. None of them were much interested in candy and nuts anymore. A new group of children came to Mr. Tillion's shop now, but not Harry Tillion and his friends. That the year Harry turned 12 was also the year Mr. Tillion got a parrot. He went to the pet store one day and bought one for more money than he could really afford. He brought the parrot to his shop, set its cage near the sign for maple clusters, and named it Rocky. Harry thought this was the strangest thing his father had ever done, and he told him so, but Mr. Tillion just ignored him. Rocky was good company for Mr. Tillion. When business was slow, Mr. Tillion would turn on a small color television he had sitting in a corner, and he and Rocky would watch the soap operas. Rocky liked to scream when the romantic music came on, and Mr. Tillion would yell at him to shut up, but they seemed to enjoy themselves. The more Mr. Tillion grew to like his parrot, and the more he talked to it instead of the people, the more embarrassed Harry became. Harry would stroll past the shop on his way to somewhere else, and he'd take a quick look inside to see what his dad was doing. Mr. Tillion was always talking to the bird, so Harry kept walking. At home, things were different. Harry and his father joked with each other at the dinner table as they always had. Mr. Tillion teasing Harry about his smelly socks, Harry teasing Mr. Tillion about his blubbery stomach, and at home things seemed all right. But one day Mr. Tillion became ill. He had been at work unpacking boxes of caramels when he grabbed his chest and fallen over on top of the candy. A customer had found him, and he was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. Mr. Tillion couldn't leave the hospital. He lay in bed, tubes in his arms, and worried about his shop. New shipments of candy and nuts would be arriving. Rocky would be hungry. Who would take care of things? Harry said he would. Harry told his father that he would go to the store every day after school and unpack boxes. He would sort out all the candy and nuts, and he would even feed Rocky. So the next morning, while Mr. Tillion lay in his hospital bed, Harry took the shop key to school with him. After school, he left his friends and walked to the empty shop alone. In all the days of his life, Harry had never seen the shop closed after school. Harry didn't even remember what the close sign looked like. The key stuck in the lock 3 times, and inside he had to search all the walls for the light switch. The shop was as his father had left it. Even the caramels were still spilled on the floor. Harry bent down and picked them up one by one, dropping them back into the boxes. The bird in his cage watched him silently. Harry opened the new boxes his father hadn't gotten to: peppermints, jawbreakers, toffee creams, strawberry kisses. Harry traveled from bin to bin, putting the candies where they belonged. "Hello!" Harry jumped, spilling the box of jawbreakers. "Hello, Rocky!" Harry stared at the parrot. He had forgotten it was there. The bird had been so quiet, and Harry had been thinking only of the candy. "Hello," Harry said. "Hello, Rocky," answered the parrot. Harry walked slowly over to the cage, and the parrot's food cup was empty. Its water was dirty, and the bottom of the cage was a mess. Harry carried the cage into the back room. "Hello, Rocky." "Is that all you can say, you dumb bird?" Harry mumbled. The bird said nothing else. Harry cleaned the bottom of the cage, refilled the food and water cups, and then put the cage back in its place and resumed sorting the candy. "Where's Harry?" Harry looked up. "Where's Harry?" Harry stared at the parrot. "Where's Harry?" Chills ran down Harry's back. What could the bird mean? It was like something from the Twilight Zone. "Where's Harry?" Harry swallowed and said, I'm here, you stupid bird." "You stupid bird," said the parrot. Well, at least he's got one thing straight, thought Harry. Miss him, miss him. "Where's Harry? You stupid bird." Harry stood with a handful of peppermints. "What?" he asked. "Where's Harry?" said the parrot. "I'm here, you stupid bird. I'm here," Harry yelled. He threw the peppermints at the cage, and the bird screamed and clung to its perch. Harry sobbed. "I'm here." The tears were coming. Harry leaned over the glass counter. "Papa." Harry buried his face in his arms. "Where's Harry?" repeated the bird. Harry sighed and wiped his face on his sleeve. He watched the parrot, and he understood now. Someone had been saying for a long time, "Where's Harry? Miss him." Harry finished his unpacking, then swept the floor of the shop. He checked the furnace so the bird wouldn't get cold. Then he left to go visit his papa. All right. So moving forward with that, your job today is to go into Wednesday and answer the 2 questions and not give up. We're going to talk about that here in just a second. Before we do, I want to clarify something, because looking at our responses yesterday, there are really 2 people characters plus the parrot in this book, and I want to clarify who is who, all right? Harry is the boy who is 12 years old in the story. His father owns the candy shop, and his father is also named Mr. Tillion. I know it's kind of confusing because the story goes back and forth between saying his father and Mr. Tillion, but Mr. Tillion is Harry's father, and Mr. Tillion is the one who owns the shop. Rocky is the actual parrot, okay? So when you're going to respond today, think Harry is the boy, Mr. Tillion is Harry's father and the owner of the candy shop, and then the parrot is named Rocky. Okay,
We already did this yesterday.
So you answered questions 1 and 2 from your pre-assessment yesterday. Today you're going to answer questions 3 and 4. So when you go into reading I'm on Tuesday. When you go into reading on Wednesday, it's going to say question 3, okay? Question 3, and that question says, remember, it's got the text here. If you want to hear it read again, you can always hit play and skip back and forth. It says, reread the lines below. How is this part of the story important to the whole story? So it says, at home things were different. Harry and his father joked with each other at the dinner table as they always had. Mr. Tillion teasing Harry about his smelly socks. Harry teasing Mr. Tillion about his blubbery stomach. At home, things seemed all right. So then it says, name the story element that is highlighted in this part. Explain how this part fits with other parts of the story. And use words like tension, resolution, and setting. In other words, to show what you're talking about. So basically what it's asking you is, why is that little section? How does that fit? And why is it important? Okay, if you need the question read aloud again, you can always hit play and it'll read it loud. Okay, so you've got the story read aloud right here, the question read aloud right here. That's question 1. After you type and submit question 1, you need to go back and type and submit question 3. You need to go back and do question 4. All right. So question 4, again, if you need the story read or the question read, is here. It says, write about a theme or a life lesson that this story develops. Use details from the story to support your answer. So don't just say, I think the theme of the story is friendship. Great. That's a great start. You're telling me what the theme is. You need to go back through and tell me, how do you know that? What in the story tells you that you think that's the theme? Okay, the theme, you can learn different lessons. So there's more than one possible answer as long as you can tell me why you chose that. So again, these questions should not be a 5-word answer. It should not just be the theme of the story is, and that's your whole answer. It should not just be this part fits in the story, and that's your answer for number 3. Okay, take your time. You guys have until 10:20. So you have over an hour to get this done. All right, so you need to make sure you're taking your time and you're really answering the question the best you possibly can. 3 and 4, not just 3. All right, does anybody have any questions about your job today? Ania, is your hand up? Okay.
If if I get on question 3 first, and I do that question first, and when I'm done submitting that, do I have to go back to home and then go?
So I'm going to go to student view so you guys can see it. It's a good question. So give me just a second. So if I'm in my student view, I'm going to go in and I'm going to click on Wednesday. And I'm going to click on reading. So let's say that I go to question 3 I'm going to go submit assignment, and I'm just going to put this is a test submission of an assignment, just to show you guys. And then I'm going to go up to the top, and I'm going to click, maybe. Oh, submit assignment, sorry. Then it's going to have submitted it. Then yes, I'm going to click home. I'm going to go right back to where I just was. Wednesday, reading, question 4. Then I'm going to do question 4. Okay? Does that answer your question, Ania?
Mhm.
Okay.
But I did that last time, and it probably because I got on late last night, and I did that, but it must have not submitted it.
No, I think we have it. You submitted. Yours we got. There's just a couple other people who didn't do them both. Okay, so that's your job. 3 and 4. If you get done early, you can do Lexia, or you can play around a little bit. One of my things is I'm not going to make Lexia a requirement today. Today, if you get done with your questions a little bit early, I think you should go play around on Epic a little bit. So if you go to reading, it's got our class code right here. You can click, you can go to Epic from your home page, like with all these apps right here, Epic's right here, and then you can try it out. Okay, it's got a lot of different books, and you can kind of play around with it because we're going to start using it a little bit more in a couple weeks. All right.